Imagine this. It is the year 862. Europe is a patchwork of warring kingdoms, muddy villages, and the occasional monastery desperately hoping no one shows up in a longboat. And into this scene sails, a Viking called Rurik. He is not your average helmet-wearing, ale-guzzling axe swinger, although to be fair, he probably did all of that on weekends. Rurik was a Norse chieftain, possibly from Denmark or Sweden. The history books are not entirely sure because Vikings were not exactly filling out travel visas. But according to the medieval Primary Chronicle, the big gossip column of Eastern Europe, the Slavic tribes in what is now northwestern Russia were having a bit of a problem. By a bit of a problem, I mean they could not stop fighting each other. So in a move that sounds completely insane by modern standards, they decided the solution was to invite a foreign warrior and his crew to come and rule over them. Imagine having noisy neighbors, and instead of sorting it out, you hire a bouncer to move in and tell you all what to do. The Chronicle says the tribes told Rurik, "Our land is great and rich, but there is no order in it. Come and reign over us." Which is probably the medieval equivalent of, "Mate, we have got resources, but we are a mess. Could you run the place?" Rurik accepted because of course he did. And so he and his brothers sailed in with their warriors, chose the city of Novgorod as their base, and started organizing things. Novgorod was not just some backwater, it sat on a prime trade route between the Baltic and the Byzantine Empire. That meant furs, honey, wax and slaves going south, and silks, wine and shiny coins coming north. Within a few years, Rurik had turned Novgorod into a stable, prosperous and well-defended center of power. He became the founder of what historians call the Rurikid dynasty, and his descendants would go on to rule Russia for more than 700 years. Yes, 7 centuries. That is longer than some countries have even existed. Oh, and about the name Russia. It likely comes from Rus, the name given to the Norsemen by the Slavs and Finns. So essentially, Russia is literally the land of the Vikings. Makes you see those snow-covered onion domes a bit differently, does it not? Of course, Rurik's life was not just paperwork and city planning. He had to deal with rebellions, rival chieftains, and the small matter of making sure no one in his newly acquired territory fancied stealing it back. But by the time he died in 879, he had laid the foundations for what would become one of the largest empires in history. The story does not end there though. After his death, his relative Oleg took over, marched south and captured Kiev, making it the capital of the growing state. This united Novgorod and Kiev into what became known as Kievan Rus, the political and cultural ancestor of modern Russia, Ukraine and Belarus. So next time you picture Vikings, do not just imagine them swinging swords on a windswept beach. Remember that one of them, a man named Rurik, swapped the open sea for a throne, traded plunder for politics, and accidentally built a country that would change the course of world history. Not bad for a bloke who probably did not even know how to spell Russia. Oh.